What's the myth? Like, what do you supposedly get out of No Nut November?
No Nut November was actually came from a meme, right? Like somebody was like, oh, No Nut November, we're gonna start No Nut November on November 1st. And by midnight, oh, I failed already, right? And then, but it took off. But semen retention as a practice is actually like a Buddhist, Taoist practice. And there's some religious or spiritual background behind it. People felt that if they would abstain from ejaculation, that they would be able to focus more on spirituality, on God or a higher power, and they wouldn't be distracted by desire and urges for sex. And so that's sort of where it came from. And from that, they would think they would get all these health benefits, like they would get this brain clarity, they would get testosterone boosting, it would improve fertility, like all these things. But the reality is those things have been looked at scientifically, and there has been no true meaningful increase in testosterone or fertility. In fact, if you abstain for too long, you can harm your fertility.
But I mean, wouldn't the body just take care of itself?
It does.
I mean, would a man just store up all of that semen for a month?
So what happens is either you're going to have a wet dream, so you're going to have a nocturnal emission, and so then that was the other thing. People would have wet dreams, they'd be like, oh my God, I failed. And it's like, no, you can't even control that. Like, you are asleep and it's normal and healthy. Like, your body is just taking care of itself.
I mean, size. Does size matter?
This comes up all the time, right? Because we are in a society where size is revered. The reality is, when you look at the data, people overestimate what average is. So they think average is like 6 inches erect. Average is more like 5.1 to 5.6 inches, depending on the study you look at. And the reality is that's not necessarily true. Like, of course, there are women who prefer longer penises. They enjoy stimulation, deep stimulation during sex, but that's not the majority. I would say 85% of women need clitoral stimulation, and the clitoris is above the urethra. It's the area that is very sensitive. It is the homologue of the penis.
Are there any other viral trends that you've kind of had to correct?
Yeah, so there was one on TikTok for a while. There was a lot of people talking about what's called jelqing.
What is it called?
Jelqing.
Jelqing.
Which is like this practice to increase penile length. And so people would be like, oh, I did this and I increased my penile length and it was great. And so they were talking about this a lot. That sounds very safe, right? Like, oh, I'm just stretching, like, what's the big deal? But sometimes, and you can probably relate this, most men, when you tell them to do something, they don't just do it, they want to do it the best, right? And so they're like
Rena Malik, a board-certified urologist and fellowship-trained specialist in medicine and reconstructive surgery, expertise in sexual medicine, hormone management, menopause, and non-narcotic pelvic pain treatment.
The guidelines would say 55 is the age to start screening for prostate cancer.
What are some of the most common sexual health problems in men that go ignored?
I would say also, if you have a family history of prostate cancer, specifically your dad or your brother.
And so, I mean, would it be beneficial for men to be on 5 milligrams of Cialis every day?
We do research, right? And so one of the research areas that I found really compelled me was health literacy. I would have patients come and they would get to see me for maybe 30 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, depending on what they were there for. And I would give them all this information, but it was just not enough time. I only have so much time because insurance only reimburses so much, and you've got all these pressures to see a certain number of patients, or or you're going to get in trouble by the power of Big Brother, right? You get in this situation where you're not able to really give patients the time and energy they deserve. I realized I really wanted to be able to reach people at home and be able to teach them so that they would, be able to learn and understand better. And once I think people understand what's going on with them, you can actually take the steps you need to take. I felt like this was something really important to me, but I realized that doing it through the traditional research route would take me decades before I got to a point where I was really reaching the masses. So I said, let me try this, right? Let me try educating online. And so I was like, okay, I'm just gonna try YouTube. Like, why not? And so for 6 months, I just made a video a week, and I had no idea what I was doing, but I just did it. As I started doing it, I realized wow, there's so much need for sexual health education. People know nothing, right? And they're getting preyed on by people who don't know much either, but are trying to make a quick buck. They're preying on desperation. People are desperate to have better sex lives, and they will then pay money to get better sex lives to anyone that will offer it, right? And so I felt like, okay, this is gonna be what I give back to the world.